After watching the State of the Nation address last night, I came to one conclusion that our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is like that singer who has the crowd going, everybody singing to the lyrics because the lyrics are so catchy. And, the venue is pumping, everybody's having a good time until you download the lyrics and you read the lyrics and you realize that this guy is not that talented after all. Because when you go through the lyrics, you realize that there's no content, there's no substance in the lyrics. It's just catchy. There's nothing going on in there. That's how Cyril is. Because what he does is he gives the speech, and then somewhere towards the last quarter of the speech, he just starts doing that whole thing that Cyril does, where he starts talking about how great South Africa is, how much everything is going so well, how everything's going to come together, how we just have to keep going, just fly over all the problems and the crime and the unemployment. Everything will be fine. That's how Cyril Ramaphosa behaves. It's almost like a contestant who gets asked a question. What are you gonna do what are you gonna do if you win this competition? Well, if I win this contest, I'm gonna end poverty and make sure nobody goes to bed hungry. That's not a plan, it's a wish. So I wrote down everything that he said. I wrote down everything that he said, word to word by word, until I couldn't do it anymore. I got to a point where he gets to that point I was referring to earlier, where he just starts talking about things, and then you just have to like get into the groove of it until you fall asleep. So at that point, I just cut it off and I go to bed. So I'm gonna read it page by page. So just stay with me. So the first one, he says, our strength and power is in the respect for one another, or in the respect we have for one another. Our strength and power is in the respect we have for one another. Our economy is growing. We have a clear path to stabilize our national debt. We've put an end to load shedding. Yeah, you've put an end to load shedding. You want us to clap hands? You create a problem, and when the problem is gone, now we should give you the props because you ended the problem. You ended the problem that you started in the first place. Come on, give me a break. Who do you think you're talking to, Cyril? And then he talks about we are going to improve our train network and our ports and make sure that our businesses can get their products and goods. Um, we have created 2.5 million job opportunities. That's the one I really want to ask a question about. What is a job opportunity, Cyril? What is the difference between a job and a job opportunity? Because it's either a job or it's nothing. Do you understand me? So if it's either 2.5 million jobs or zero, it can be a job opportunity. Stop playing with words. Who do you think you're talking to? Next page. I wrote everything down. We have a dynamic energy system, the highest metric rate like on record or something like that. Our rate of unemployment must come down. Our rate of unemployment must come down. So this is what he said, guys. The rate of unemployment must come down. What does that mean, Cyril? Because I can have some respect for you if you said to me that we have our rate of unemployment at 32.9%. These are the following things we're going to be doing in the next 12 months to make sure that we can take it from 32% to 22%. Give me a plan. Give me some form of action. Don't just wish it away. Don't just say something like it must come down. How is it going to come down without action? Let me continue. We're going to strengthen. Oh, this is a great one. We're going to strengthen our anti-corruption laws. We are strengthening our You're strengthening anti-corruption laws, sir? The anti-corruption laws are being strengthened. Just apply the law, sir. Just make sure that when somebody is found to be in corruption, they are arrested and prosecuted and put in prison. You don't have to strengthen anything. Our laws are fine. Just catch the thieves and put them in prison. Just do it. We are making progress that was difficult to. I promise you, this is the kind of these are the kind of things that Cyril says. Making progress that was difficult to make in the previous years. We are making progress that was difficult to make in the previous years. What does that mean, Cyril? Who you think you're talking to? You're making progress that was difficult to make in the previous years. What does that even mean? What does this sentence mean? The GNU has shown that it's possible to work together for growth and progress. Let me just say it like how he says it. Growth and progress. This guy is borderline delusional because for growth and progress, what growth and progress can you put on paper and show us, Cyril. We hosted a successful G20 summit. I'm not gonna even comment on that one. Third page. We are still. Oh my God! This is, when I was writing this down, I just could not believe that our 72-year-old president writes down stuff like this. It's like you're reading a speech written down by a 12-year-old who is just trying to appease the teacher in the crowd. Listen to the following sentence. We are still far from where we need to be. We are still far from where we need to be. Listen to that. For too many people, life is for too many people, life is hard. Jobs are scarce. Opportunity is out of reach. South Africans are uh, worried about crime and corruption. They are concerned at the state of local government and its ability to deliver basic services. Above all, they are desperate for work and an income to support their families. We need a society where the state works for the people and the corrupt face consequences. He wrote this. He said this. I wrote this down just as he said it. Let me read it again. For too many people, life is hard. Jobs are scarce. Opportunity is out of reach. South Africans are worried about crime and corruption. They are concerned at the state of local government and their ability to deliver basic services. Above all, they are desperate for work and an income to support their families. We need a society where the state works for the people and the corrupt face consequences. Like, this guy is mental. So you're gonna mention all these problems that everybody's aware of, and I look at the next statements you make, and you don't provide any solutions. You're writing a speech for a debate, but you're not providing any solutions to the problem. You mentioned how we live on a daily basis in South Africa, where there are no opportunities, there are no jobs, there's crime, there's corruption, and you just fly over that problem, and then you go on the next thing. What kind of a president are you? Who you think you're talking to? Why don't you mention the problem and then give us a solution? That's how this is supposed to work. Next page. Ah, classic. We've taken action last year to prioritize the following, and he mentions three things. One, drive inclusive growth and job creation, reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living, build a capable and ethical developmental state. like, why does he like mentioning problems and mentioning what he's going to do? Why does he like mentioning things that are so obvious to all of us? But at the end of it, if there's column A and B, he mentions everything in column A, but in column B, there's nothing going on over there. And what is an inclusive growth? How are you going to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living? You're just going to mention the stuff and carry on? We have to build a capable and ethical development. We have to build a capable and ethical developmental state. What does that mean? A stronger South Africa must be safe and secure. This is the part where I start giving up. So this guy just mentions things that have to be done. A stronger South Africa must be safe and secure. My 20-year-old daughter can write better than this and provide better solutions, because a stronger South Africa must be safe and secure. What does it mean? Look, a peaceful world is a world where every child is protected. It means nothing. Let me continue. The cost of what is this now? I was writing so fast. Oh, the cost of crime is measured by the lives lost and the futures that are cut short. Like, this guy is just mentioning stuff, almost like he's writing a poem that we have to like applaud. The cost of crime is measured by the lives lost and futures that are cut short. And then what? And he goes on to talk about we have to find gang wars, illegal miners, women abuse, and the construction mafia, organized crime. That's the next page, by the way. We are stepping up the fight against crime and criminal syndicates. We must dismantle the criminal networks and gang violence and illegal mining. Well, on this page, at least he provides a solution. I applaud him for the fact that he's willing to deploy the South African National Defence Force to support the police in fighting illegal mining in the Western Cape and Gauteng. I applaud you for that one, Mr. President. But here is my request. Make it count. Don't do it as a PR exercise. Make it count. Make sure that our South African National Defence Force, they knock on doors, they take down criminals, they take them down and dismantle the syndicates. They have to do it. Because if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then it's not going to make any difference. And then on the same line of talk, he talks about gun laws and firearms. I just hope, Mr. President, you're not trying to come after people's guns, because we live in a country where we have a high rate of crime and we have the right to carry arms and protect our families. Don't come after our guns. Don't come after my gun. I'm not giving up my gun. And here's another part where I applaud him. 5,500 police officers to be added. Wonderful. But make sure that the police are well trained. Make sure that the recruitment process is not corrupted. Have people come into the police because they want to stop crime. Don't let people come into the police by paying somebody a bribe to be on the list and then do the training, because the whole thing is already contaminated. Fight crime, fight against counterfeit products, corruption in the SAPS and the Metro Police. Oh, and he comes up with the task team to deal with corruption in the SAPs and Metro Police. How many task teams do you have, Mr. President? What, 38? Next page. Sorry. And now he talks about, he mentioned something about lifestyle audits. The next time, every time I hear a politician talk about lifestyle audits, I just lose my mind, because it should just be a standard. If you work for the government and you use money that belongs to the public, you must just be audited. We must understand that you're not stealing money from the purse. It should not be discussed or talked about. It might just happen. Just do it. He talks about the Matlanga Commission and how the recommendations must be implemented. I don't really believe that. I'm taking that with a pinch of salt. It's not going to happen. I think the whole thing is just a delayed tactic. And then he talks about we have to protect our whistleblowers and the corruption in procurement. And then measures will be taken. Measures will be taken, Cyril. Measures will be taken. Looking at your reputation and your track record, Cyril Ramaphosa, there will be no measures taken against corruption in procurement in government departments and protection against whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are being taken out after testifying in the Matlanga Commission. We're not talking about last year. We're talking about something that happened now. Nobody's protecting whistleblowers right now. So don't talk about measures will be taken. These measures, you cannot even list these measures. You cannot even give us a list of measures that you'll be taking. We must act with zero tolerance. That's what he says. We must act with zero tolerance. Who's we? Let me continue on this page. Water. Oh, yeah. Now he gets into a very hot topic: water shortages. Don't be worried, South Africa, because he has a plan of action. So let me read the plan of action in the next couple of pages, because this now it gets really interesting. I've instructed the Minister of Water Affairs and Cooperative Governance to attend to the problem and engage with our communities. Oh man, this guy's a star. I've instructed the Minister of Water Affairs and Corporate Governance to attend to the problem and engage with our... These people are the ministers of corporate governance and water affairs. They don't need instructions. They must just do their job. You've instructed them to do their job. Oh God, this is funny. And engage with our communities. Yes, pipes are being repaired and reservoirs are filling up. Pipes are being repaired, guys, and the reservoirs are filling up. So water is on its way. This comes from, he identifies the problem. This is new. Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, has identified a problem. He has identified a problem. This comes from 1, poor planning, 2, inadequate maintenance. He nailed it. Poor planning and inadequate maintenance. Our president found the problem about water. Why don't we have water right now in many municipalities? Poor planning and bad maintenance. He found it, guys. Main cause of the problem. Oh my God, this is the sentence that I have to read for everybody to listen to. Cyril Ramaphosa says a sentence that I wrote down and I even rewinded and then listened to him again. He says, the main cause of the problems are now the reason we are having empty taps. He said it. He said, the main cause of the problems are now the reason we are having empty taps. He said it. I don't know what that means. 156 billion rand public funding for infrastructure over the next 3 years will be allocated. So we're going to spend 156 billion rand in public funding for infrastructure over the next 3 years. And because he identified the problem earlier, he's going to come up with a solution. Classic Cyril Ramaphosa. The solution involves forming a new agency. We're going to form a new agency called, listen to this name, the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. Let me repeat that. The National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. It has to be fancy, right? And this is to manage the country's water infrastructure. So we have the Minister of Water Affairs. We have municipal managers throughout the country. But to make sure that they do their job, we have to open up a new office with IT infrastructure, everything that you need, and a big budget to make sure that those other guys do their job. That's how Cyril deals with problems. So if somebody's not doing their job, hire another person to make sure the other person does the job. And when they both don't do their job, you come up with the task team. That's how he does it. That's how he handles problems. And then he talks about he's going to introduce a water services amendment bill to enable us to hold water providers accountable. Oh, guys, I'm laughing, but this is not even funny. So, Cyril, people are not doing their job. People are not carrying out their mandates that they're getting paid to do. But instead of getting them fired and kicking them out of those offices, we are going to have a new agency, which you and I are going to pay for, and there's going to be a new bill that's going to be introduced. And this bill is called Water Services Amendment Bill to enable us to hold water providers accountable. If a municipality is not able to deliver a service to its residents, then it must be done by another structure that can do so. I promise you, he said exactly this. If a municipality is not able to deliver a service to its residents, then it must be done by another structure that can do so. I wrote this down word by word. We will now elevate our response to this water crisis to a national water crisis committee, which I will chair. Oh my God. When he said this, I just could not believe what I was watching. That's why I'm saying to you guys that I wrote everything down. I got to a point where I couldn't write anymore. I had to just shut it down and watch something, like watch a funny show where I can just forget about all the problems we have in this country. Because our president said the following: we will now elevate our response to this water crisis to a national water crisis committee, which I will be the chairman of. So you have mayors in municipalities, you have city managers, you have premiers of provinces, you have all sorts of people that are responsible to making sure that we have water coming out of our taps. And when those people don't do their jobs, they fail at their jobs. You don't fire them. No, you come up with a National Water Crisis Committee. And every committee has got a budget. Every task team has got a budget. And every agency has got a huge budget. So every time we have a problem in South Africa, just spend more money. Next page. Because I keep checking this microphone because it's I don't know, it's messing with me. The deputy president has been working with water authorities in the country. We will deploy technical experts and resources, and we will not hesitate to use the powers that are enshrined in our constitution and in the Water Services Act. So they are definitely going to be punishing these guys. I mean, they're going to use all the powers that are enshrined in our constitution to make sure those guys are punished. Just fire them. The national government cannot stand by and believe. Guys, this is another sentence that I want to read out so you can see. I wrote this sentence. This is how he said it, guys. He said, the national government cannot stand by and believe that local government will be able to solve the problem, which they, hold on, which they were not able to solve. I'm going to repeat that. He said, national government cannot stand by and believe that local government will be able to solve the problem which they were not able to solve. He said this. Who's writing this? Who's writing this stuff? National government will therefore have to intervene. I mean, this is really, really powerful stuff. The national government will no longer stand by and believe that the local government will be able to solve the problem which they were not able to solve. That's why we're intervening. Toothless stuff for sure. We will hold to account those who neglect their responsibilities to supply water to our people. When people say things like this, you very quickly realize that it means nothing. If somebody says a sentence that goes along the lines of, we will hold to account those who neglect their responsibility to supply water to our people, this whole sentence means nothing. Zero. Doesn't mean anything. Next page. Government has already laid criminal charges against 56 municipalities that have failed to meet their obligations. So you're gonna lay criminal charges? Just fire them. For me, the principle should be simple. If a municipality fails their audit or do not reach their goals, put that municipality under administration for the rest of that term. Simple. You walk in there, everybody must walk out with their files, and then you run that municipality until the next election. Because we are tired of municipalities that don't take responsibility. We are tired of a government that does not hold municipalities account, because that is exactly where service delivery happens. That's where roads and services come from. If that municipality fails, as a government, you take away that responsibility, you kick them out of the office, and you run that municipality the way it's supposed to be run until the end of the term. That's how you get things done. Let me continue. In many of our metros, water revenue has been used for other purposes, and very little is invested in upgrading and maintaining water infrastructure. Like, why are you mentioning such obvious things? There's annual financial statements that come out from the auditor general, and you guys keep ignoring it. But now you want to tell us that in many metros, water revenue has been used for other purposes other than upgrading and maintaining water infrastructure. Why are you giving me information like this? This information should be obvious. This information should be something we don't talk about, because if you're a municipal manager or a mayor, you should know how to distribute revenue. It should be a given. And if you fail to do that, you should be put under administration, be kicked out of the office, and then let somebody do the job. I just get irritated when the president keeps mentioning problems to us that are so obvious that the municipal managers and the mayors are not responsible people, and they must be taken out, and the government must take over and finish the job. To address this, oh God, he's going to put more money to it. I cannot believe he just mentioned that these people are not spending the money they're supposed to be spending. Instead of coming up with a solution and firing people, he's going to put 54 billion rand incentive for metros. 54 billion rand. So you have mayors and city managers and all these people that are working in our metros and municipalities. They don't know how to do their job. We don't have water. Everything's been vandalized. We're losing all sorts of things. And to solve the problem, wow, I've got an idea. My name is Cyril Ramaphosa, and I'm going to spend 54 billion rand as an incentive for metros. So for their incompetence, here's 54 billion rand. How do you feel about that? Water outages are a symptom of a local government system that is not working. In many local government administrations, many local government administrations are weak. They don't have the capacity and governed by patronage other than technical capacity and merit. He nailed another one. He says these government, these local government administrations, they lack capacity. They're governed by patronage, and they are not governed. They're not. They don't follow technical capacity and merit. So he said what we've been thinking all along. We have been saying this for the longest time, that if you put people in positions, whether it's a municipality or a department or a ministry of health, whatever it is, if those people are put in there because of their patronage and not merit, this is the result you get. You cannot escape it. If you put people who are incompetent, you will get bad results. So, once again, our president nailed the problem. Congratulations, guys, on the last page. Because after this page, what I really found is that, actually, that was the last page. What I really found is that I just couldn't write anymore because I just felt like I keep repeating the same things, because these are the things that our president will say every year at every State of the Nation address. And what you will find very quickly is that he doesn't come back the next year and correct or tell us what has happened with the previous SONA and then give us some sort of progress report. No, he doesn't do that. He comes up with new solutions. I mean, in the part of the speech, there's a part where he actually talks about speed trains, bullet trains, and like, what are you talking about? Just get the basics right. One of the things that I've learned as somebody who's been in construction for 20 years is this. As a government, whether it's local or national, provide us with roads, provide us with electricity that is consistent and predictable, give us water that is clean and consistent, provide us with communication systems that are reliable, light up the streets with lights, deal with the issue of crime, make us feel safe. We will take care of the rest ourselves, because all we really want is to wake up in the morning and get on with our lives. We don't need to hear about what you have to do. Just provide us with the services and we'll get it done. If we're talking about ports and the railway system, make sure it works and it's effective and business can do their job. That's all we're asking you to do. But what you find with the State of the Nation address is that our president is not a president of solutions. Like I said, he's like somebody who's trying to win a contest. He's trying to win a contest and he's answering questions about what are you going to do about poverty? And you just give these superficial answers. We need solutions. It's 2026. And in South Africa, as we sit right now, we have an issue of crime, corruption. We have an issue of illegal immigration. We have an issue of illegal mining. We have an issue of unemployment. We have an issue of an education system that needs to be fixed and has to be fixed now. We need to create jobs. We need to jumpstart the country, man. Rebuild our infrastructure. Come up with solutions. Don't come up with words and sentences that are just supposed to sound nice. Give us a solution, Cyril. Who do you think you're talking to? So that's the State of the Nation address. I think I probably stopped an hour before he finished because he was gonna get into that mode I was telling you about. He gets into this mode where he starts just going, and then it's like we are just on this ride, and then you just follow him, and everything will be fine. It's like you're on your deathbed, and Cyril Ramaphosa is sitting there next to your bed in hospital and says, you might be dying the next couple of days, but just look forward to going into another realm. Just know that life doesn't end here. You know, you are leaving a nice legacy. You look at him like, Cyril, I am dying over here. What are you talking about? What do you know about dying? What do you know about going to the other side? Leave me alone and let me die in peace. Anyway, guys, uh, thanks for supporting Heartfall. Please subscribe to the channel and go to heartfall.org.za. Also support heartfall.store and follow on all the updates that we have when it comes to the Heartfall Patrol Unit. Until then, stay safe.